sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
A better way to pay your UTG fees with instant proof of payment and real-time student portal update. Paying your University of the Gambia fees has never been easier or more convenient. With EcoBank, students, parents and guardians can pay UTG tuition and related fees through our secure digital banking channels such as EcoBank mobile app, EcoBank online and EcoBank Omni Lite. Once payment is completed, instant proof of payment is generated and the UTG student portal is updated in real time, allowing students to proceed immediately with registration, course selection, and clearance without unnecessary delays, while giving parents and guardians peace of mind that payments have been successfully processed. How to pay via the EcoBank mobile app. Open the EcoBank mobile app and navigate to the home screen. Select Pay Bill. Choose Pay a New Bill and select Schools from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. How to pay via EcoBank Online or Omni Lite. Log in to EcoBank Online and Omni Lite using your credentials. Select the menu and choose Bill Payments. Choose Quick Bill Pay and select School from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Walk into any EcoBank branch or pay through our digital channels and enjoy instant proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
On Tuesday, the 9th of June, 2026, you're with Coffee Time with Peter Gomez, and we have with us Dr. Ismail Ceesay. Somebody sent me a text message specifically for you. He imports cars into this country, and he has two problems: congestion at the port, and also that for the past 6 months we have been unable to produce registration plates, number plates. What's going on?
So with the congestion, I can't speak on that. What I was made to understand, well, there was no more congestion anymore. In fact, what we are made to understand is that in fact, they are now waiting for ships to anchor because of the new
that's not true
arrangement.
Today.
So I don't know why. Maybe it's because of these intermittent strikes that has been taking place there. I don't know why. I need to find out.
The congestion was there before that strike.
Yes,
in fact, the people who went on strike used the congestion to press home their problem. Maybe the reason why this was as swiftly resolved was because they did not want the congestion problem to
we will look at that and see. It's not supposed to happen. If it's happening, we'll look at that and see what is happening, because what we are made to understand is that there is no more congestion at the port. That is why, in fact, we had to eliminate what they call the congestion charges that they were charging, because there are no congestions anymore.
I'm not sure about
on the
charges.
issue of the number plate. It's a transition happening. The contract had ended with the one who was supplying, and now they are working on a new procurement and a new contract, which will be finalized very soon, and I hope very soon they'll resolve it. So this gap between the ending of the contract of one contract to getting another one, I think that's why the gap is, but I hope it will be resolved as soon as possible. It's something that should not happen, we know. And I think we'll take note and make sure that doesn't happen anymore. But
Because
really,
I
they're
get
working on
angry.
it.
I get angry when I see all these cars moving around with their numbers written on paper and stuck at the front and back
Yeah,
of their
it's not
cars.
supposed to happen.
Because I remember one day, my car was on the road. Unknowingly, one of the plates had fallen off, the one at the back.
It's one of the paper ones.
And no, not paper one. The plates.
The plate itself. Yes.
Really, the plates. And my son was intercepted at mobile traffic. I had to call King Koli
I'll
to
speak
say,
with the minister now, Interior, to see what's happening, because they need to really resolve this as soon as
I
possible.
hear another side to the same story, that the Ministry of Interior wants to do the plate production themselves, but somebody in government wants this to be given out to some private producer.
I can't confirm that. I need to find out what's happening. The last time I made a call to find out about this place is that there's a procurement.
It's cheaper for the taxpayer when it's done by the Ministry of Interior.
Yes.
So we should not look for a third party.
I'll find out what is happening, and next week I'll give you more.
We should be cutting costs now,
this,
because
yes.
CD Keita just went to Parliament yesterday and told them that you people overspent. You come and ask us to give you 10, and you go and spend 30. So how do you explain that?
I'll find out what's happening with the number plates, and I'll give you updates next week.
Yeah, what about the finance minister admitting to
I did not listen to that, so I cannot comment on it. I need more information about that.
All right, let me...
There was another question about the airport expansion, I think, that you sent me.
Exactly.
So what is happening is that...
So this guy, I was going to that, this guy has land, and, or maybe I should just read the... They send questions so that they could be read as they were sent. Okay. So it goes, hello, Uncle Peter. Can you kindly ask the Honorable Minister about the airport expansion program? I have land about a mile away from the airport since 2019. I went to register it some months ago and was told they are not registering any plots around that end. At least the government should map out the area they're going to use so we can know our fate. Thank you for your kind attention.
So what is happening? There was serious encroachment around the airport perimeter fence from communities outside that area, those who had land around that area. And because of that, there was a moratorium to stop registration until the full mapping is done. And that is what the Ministry of Lands is doing right now. They are working on it to do the full mapping so they can secure the airport land area. And then now they can go ahead and start registration. For now, that is what is happening. And that is why today they are not registering anybody, because there was serious encroachment heading into the airport. And part of our airport expansion is to build a runway. And if these encroachments continue, we'll be left with no airport. And because of that encroachment, we've stopped people from registering land around that area. The Ministry of Lands is working hard to do a complete comprehensive mapping of the airport. They can go ahead and register their land as long as it doesn't fall within the perimeter of the airport.
Okay, here's one. Good morning, Peter. With the travel plans announced by the minister, has the travel ban been lifted? If not, how come the president and VP are traveling presumably from government coffers?
But who said the VP is traveling from government coffers? The VP is in
He's in Beijing.
China. Yeah,
you only told us that he was in Beijing.
Exactly. But
attending a human rights.
No, what I'm saying is that most of the travels to Beijing are sponsored by the Chinese government. I'm not sure about this one.
You didn't say that.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, I just said he traveled.
Yes.
But I did not say at whose expense he's traveling.
So that's why he's asking, and that's why he said presumably.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm telling you also is that I'm not sure about that. But the travel ban only applies to non-statutory travels. And the PCM is a statutory travel because it's a bilateral, very strong bilateral relation between Gambia and Senegal, which happens every periodically. And this should happen, and it must happen. Now, so obviously, that is it. We cannot say that the president should not travel because of the travel ban when it is statutory, and it must happen. But for the vice president, I'm not sure about the expense of that travel, who is bearing the cost of that expenses. That one I need to really confirm.
Tourism was not included on the list the minister mentioned. Was it a mistake? Tourism has ever been part of the areas of importance in the agreement between the two countries. Go back to that list.
Let me go back to my list.
Somebody who is very attentive didn't hear tourism, and they were expecting tourism to be listed.
I'm not sure. Maybe it's an oversight that it was left out. Updates here. the Senegal or Gambian one. Culture is there, and culture is under tourism.
Okay.
It's tourism and culture.
Okay, so culture, for you, culture is tourism, yeah?
It's called tourism.
Okay. Good morning. Can you please ask the Minister of Information, when will Kunkujang Mariama have electricity? It's a place where Christians gather every year to celebrate Our Lady Queen of Peace. At least we deserve to have electricity. Also, our road is not standard. They keep on giving us promises. And this is from Abba Omendi.
But there is road. The road was built.
I thought there was a road to Kunkujang.
Yeah, he said it's not standard. It's a double surface road. Double surface roads are roads where we know that there is no high heavy duty traffic in those areas. So therefore, it's still a very good road. That is one they built from Brufut through Madiana through to Kunkujang Mariama and that particular area. Okay. Now, when it comes to electricity, I think very soon, I think that's part of the plans. Very soon there will be electricity there as well. So, I mean, I've been in meetings where this was discussed many times about Kunkujang Mariama having electricity. And I think very soon they will have electricity as well. Like I said, the idea is, or the priority is that by 2026 ending, that's universal access. No community will be left unlit in this country by end of 2026 if all plans go well.
Hello, Mr. Peter. Can you please ask your guest whether they don't have plans to ask the petrol stations to reduce more on the fuel cost? This is from Alpha Jallo of Sincho Coastal Road.
But we don't increase. The Gambia government doesn't control the price of fuel. This is a global price, and what we've done is even to make sure that it is reduced by giving subsidies in the fuel sector. This month alone, we've subsidized 150 million. That is why the price of diesel came down from $120 to $115. If we did not subsidize the fuel in our pumps today, we would be buying fuel for $140, $150 per liter because of the global price shocks that we have no control over due to the war and the crisis in the Middle East. And it fluctuates when one makes a statement. For example, yesterday when Iran made a statement that they would stop attacking Israel, the price of Brent crude went down from $97 to $95 per barrel. So obviously, this is something we have no control over. What we can do as a government is to come up with interventions that can cushion the impact on the population. And that is what we are doing as a responsible government. That is why we are giving subsidies. And our subsidies cut across sectors. We subsidize the agriculture sector. We subsidize the energy sector, that is electricity. We subsidize fuel. We do a lot of subsidies to make sure that the impact of the crisis doesn't really affect the population to the extent that it will force them to live in abject poverty. And I think the government is doing all that.
It wasn't as if the price of diesel was the only high one. In fact, petrol was much higher, all right, before diesel. Then they switched the following month, and now you come and knock off $5 off diesel, and let petrol consumers still pay the same high price.
So what we realize is that most public transport use diesel in this country, and most people use diesel in this country.
Yet we talk about contributing to mitigating, climate change effects, and we are promoting diesel.
No, we're not promoting diesel. We are trying to mitigate the impact of a crisis on our population. No, we are not.
By pushing more people now to look for diesel engine cars.
No, people will not do that people will not, because they know it's a short-term measure. So the people will not change their car, the type of car they drive in this short term to go and buy petrol cars.
What Gambians will now say is,
no, but they know it's short term. This is a short term measure. What we are facing is a short term crisis. It will be over very soon, and we'll go back to normal.
Very soon.
But for now,
what is very soon?
I think now very soon. The war will not continue as it is. The Strait of Hormuz will be open at some point.
There's going to be a lag. The effects are going to be there. In fact, we will feel it more.
Yes,
even after the war is over.
I know, but if the war is over today, we'll feel the lag within 3 to 6 months. After that, everything will go back to normal. I don't think anybody now will change a car for a crisis that can be over in 3 to 6 months. So what I'm trying to tell you is that we've realized that many people use diesel in this country, particularly in the public transportation sector, to mitigate the impact on the population. That is why we heavily subsidize diesel. And also in the global market, the price of diesel is more expensive than the price of
because they're
fuel.
trying to discourage diesel engine cars.
Yes.
And the Gambia is encouraging.
We're not encouraging it. We're trying to come up with measures to mitigate the impact of the global crisis. That's what we are doing. It's not a policy of government to promote diesel cars. We are not. And I think that if all, we are very we're one of the countries that respect our environmental obligations. So we will not do that. But in the short term, something has to be done. It's better than nothing is being done. In the short term, we have to mitigate the impact of the crisis on our people. And as a responsible government, we realize that subsidizing diesel heavily is better for our population. And we have to do it for the short term.
Okay. Let me ask you a question that I asked last week and it wasn't answered. What was President Jomai Faye doing in the Gambia a few days ago?
Well, I mean, the president came to visit His Excellency, his brother, his friend, on a private discussion, which is not for public consumption.
Really?
Yeah. It happens in diplomacy. Some things are said behind closed doors, and they're not supposed to be for public consumption. This is high diplomacy. And if everything discussed by two presidents is out there in the open, the world will crumble.
So Jomai comes here. A few days later, we see Talib hobnobbing with Usman Sonko. Are we to assume that the Gambia government is in league with Jomai Faye? We know the split that is in Senegal, and Sonko is looking beyond the government of the Gambia for,
As a government, we don't pay
opposition.
attention to what opposition is doing. What we pay attention to is to strengthen bilateral ties between two countries, and no matter who is in power. We don't look at the personality, we look at who is in power. Currently in Senegal, Jomai Faye is the president, and it is just right, diplomatically, that the Gambia government deals with Mr. Jomai Jahar Faye because he's the president of the Republic of Senegal.
There was a time when we dealt with the government of Senegal through Usman Sonko.
No.
So he falls out. He falls out.
We always deal with.
He's now the speaker of the.
Yes, but as a government, we deal with the government in power. We don't look at the personality. So now, what opposition decides to do, that is their problem.
Whatever happened with with Sonko when he was prime minister should be seen as happening with the office of the prime minister.
Of course, yes. Purely. We deal with the president. That is why when President Macky Sall was there, we had close ties with Macky Sall. We worked with Macky Sall.
I understand he either still is here or was here a few days ago. Is that correct?
In Gambia?
Yes.
I'm not aware of that.
You're not aware of that?
Now, when he was in power, we worked with him. When Abdoulaye Wade was in power, the government worked with Abdoulaye Wade. Now, Jomai is in power. We have to work with Jomai because he's the president of the Republic of Senegal. We cannot be working with people who are not in government. And I think what the opposition decides to do, that is their own choice. But we as a government, we have ties with Senegal, and these ties are enduring and long-lasting, and they outlive presidents. We deal with the state, and anybody who's in that state we deal with as a government.
Okay, but you took notice of the fact that Talib was in Dakar and he had this public, ceremony with Usman Sonko.
Was he?
Okay.
I'm not aware of that. I'm focusing on what President Barrow is doing and what he's delivering to the Gambian people. I don't pay attention to the opposition most times.
And what about this perception that the government of the Gambia, Banjul, State House, is still of the belief that, this Pastef government, cannot succeed. They will fail somehow and...
But what do you mean by that?
I'm speaking straight English.
That what?
That, somehow Macky Sall will find his way, or supporters of Macky Sall will find their way back.
When you say in Banjul, where in Banjul?
I mean, Banjul is your government.
No.
That your government is still of that belief.
No, I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware of. Our government is of the belief that Mr. Bassirou Diomaye Faye is elected president of Senegal, and we are working with him to further enhance ties between Senegal and Gambia for the benefit of the peoples of the two countries. That is what we believe in. Everything else for us is really not important for us, and it's not relevant. Mr. Macky Sall was the president before. We worked with him, and we achieved a lot. And now the Mr. Diomaye Faye is the president. We are working with him to achieve more than we achieved under President Macky Sall. And I think this is our focus. Everything else, for us, to be honest, is not our focus.
Macky Sall is history.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that Macky Sall was the president. We worked with him, and we achieved a lot for the benefit of the two people. We've had a period that has never been experienced before, any fraternal ties between the two countries. Now, we have Mr. Jomai Faye, who is in power. We are going to work with him, and we are working with him to make sure we achieve more than we achieved, because this is for the benefit of the people. The Gambian people, the Senegal people are the same people. We speak the same language, eat the same food, wear the same clothes. Basically, everything is the same. Religious, culture, everything is the same. And whatever we do as two governments is for the benefit of these people. And that is what we are focusing on, working with any government that is in Dakar to make sure that we promote benefits that can impact positively the lives of our people.
The opposition is making a lot of the IEC's admission of double registration, all right, in the tens of thousands. I'm sure you probably listened to the IEC chair. What's the response of the government, to this discovery that not just 5, not just 1,000, not just 2,000, but thousands and thousands of people, caught in the process of not registering at only one point?
Well, there could be many reasons for that. And I think as a government, we cannot get into that until we get the final details. And the Independent Electoral Commission is an independent body. And I think the fact that they were transparent, coming out to explain this to the public, shows that they have goodwill. And that the most it is detected. Look, no system is perfect. When you have paper balloting systems, you know what happens there?
No.
You get thousands and thousands of how do you call it again? What ballots again? How do they call it?
Spoiled ballots?
Spoiled ballots. Mm-hmm. So our system is such that at registration, these things happen. You don't blame the IEC. You don't blame the government. That's what I'm saying. You blame the people who are engaged in this.
The opposition is giving it its own interpretation.
Yeah, but the opposition gives everything.
And I'm asking
the IEC came out
yes.
and be very transparent. And we should thank them for that and commend them for to say, hey, after our registration, do the cleaning up. 24,000 have been taken with double registration. Fine. It's been dealt with. That should not be even a debate. They detected it and they resolved it. They could have ignored it. Nobody would know. But as long as they came out to be transparent to say, look, 24,000
They seem to be pointing the finger because when it comes...
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, what interest would they have there for double registration? You cannot even vote twice. Because our system is so such that you cannot vote twice.
If my name is down, for voting at the Janjang polling station
yes.
where I vote
yes.
every year,
mm-hmm.
but at the same time, it's also, at Marsengelau,
yes.
which is just a
that
short...
is why you have the ink.
Which is just a short walk.
That is why the ink, the indelible ink, prevents you from voting twice. If you
really?
go to Janjang and you have that ink in your hand, it takes days for that ink to be out. You go to some other place, that's crime. Who would even think of doing that? What would you gain from it? So I think for me, the most important thing is the system is working. That is how we should approach it. The system is functioning because the IEC were able to detect 24,000 people who double registered. It means the system was working. If it wasn't detected, then the system isn't working. The system is working perfectly. And now we go for election. We have one of the most rig-proof, transparent, efficient electoral voting systems in the world. And everybody has accepted that when you go to vote, your name should be checked against the register. You are given a marble. You go in to vote. It clings to know you voted once. You have an ink in your hand and you go home to wait for the results. It's very simple. So for me, I think we should even commend the IEC to say, hey, at least you detected it. We should not politicize these things. And IEC is an independent body that is independent from government because government is a...
What do you mean you should not politicize? I mean, everything involving IEC is politics.
No, it's politics, but the way it's been politicized is to say that the system...
Because it's politics.
No, but politics and politicization are two different things.
How can you not politicize politics?
No, what I'm saying is that politics...
Take away the politicization in politics and you
when we say politicize, is when you see every action from the prism of politics. And sometimes these are not politics. These are only operational issues. That is not a political issue. In terms of doing the registration, doing the cleaning, and detecting 24,000 double vote, it's not a political issue. It's an operational issue which IEC detected, and we should commend them for that. If they had not detected it, and then we go on to voting, and we realize during voting people were voting twice, then the system has failed us. But we detected it at the early stage. Now we wait for the revising courts and then we take it from there. But the IEC is independent, and I think nobody can question their independence, actually.
And just to end on a positive note, pilgrims have started coming back, and a special reporter, Alhaji Bunja Kebe, in one of his reports, made the point that pilgrims have had nothing but praise for the government this time for the arrangements. They were much closer to the Kaaba this time round as compared to the past.
Year, but
You've not been to Mecca yet, have you?
no.
Okay, all right. So
When I grow old, I'll go.
sure. So I thought, at least,
No, I mean, obviously, look, Peter, we are a government that listens, and we are a government that...
For my good friend, Hamad Ngany Kumba.
He did a fantastic job, and I think last year there was some noise, and I think
Big
you see
noise.
every year what happens is as a government is
And that's
that
why I'm
we
bringing it
learn
up, because we savage the government.
Yes.
I mean,
When things go wrong. When things go good.
I remember, all right? So because things have improved, I mean, we have to acknowledge
because we
that.
learn as a government. We are not saying we are perfect, and I think people should know
You're
that
not
we are
learning
not.
from Navek's
We are
point
not
of view.
perfect, and no, we will learn. We will learn and make sure that we put systems in place to avoid such a situation in the future. Now, what I can tell you is that look, with NAWEC, our long-term plan, medium to long-term, to be energy secure, we are working on that to the extent that we'll even have
By the
surplus
way,
energy.
Gala have submitted a request for permission to demonstrate on the 19th if things don't improve by the 15th, not later than the 15th of this month. So
Well, that's a
now,
poli-
now,
that's a-
NAWEC is put on notice.
it's a policing
they,
issue.
They have
The-
6 more days.
the police will
All right.
deal with that.
Let's go back to the
Now,
Hajj.
what I'm talking about is that
arrangements
last
this
year there was some...
They were much happier with the hotels. They were much happier with the lodging,
the logistics and everything.
and
Yeah,
everything.
because, well, like I said, we are a government that
So it's
learns
like
from-
anybody who was afraid of, going to Mecca from the Gambia, think again.
Yeah,
Because things
I
have
think
improved.
now it's improved. It's perfect. We like I said, we are a government that learns from our mistakes, that learns from our gaps and our weaknesses, and we try to improve. And in this case, Hamad Bah has improved significantly the welfare of pilgrims to the extent that hitch-free, we've not had any single complaint from pilgrims this year, and I hope this continues.
Fantastic. I hope next year you go to Mecca.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
And I'll go with you.
And then I'll call you Alhaji Doctor.
yëpp lay fay.
sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
A better way to pay your UTG fees with instant proof of payment and real-time student portal update. Paying your University of the Gambia fees has never been easier or more convenient. With EcoBank, students, parents and guardians can pay UTG tuition and related fees through our secure digital banking channels such as EcoBank mobile app, EcoBank online and EcoBank Omni Lite. Once payment is completed, instant proof of payment is generated and the UTG student portal is updated in real time, allowing students to proceed immediately with registration, course selection, and clearance without unnecessary delays, while giving parents and guardians peace of mind that payments have been successfully processed. How to pay via the EcoBank mobile app. Open the EcoBank mobile app and navigate to the home screen. Select Pay Bill. Choose Pay a New Bill and select Schools from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. How to pay via EcoBank Online or Omni Lite. Log in to EcoBank Online and Omni Lite using your credentials. Select the menu and choose Bill Payments. Choose Quick Bill Pay and select School from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Walk into any EcoBank branch or pay through our digital channels and enjoy instant proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.